Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. This is the second session of Money Management for Beginners. I trust that you enjoyed last week's session, and I know we've got a lot, even more to learn this session. Thank you for this positive feedback you gave last week, and thank you for your participation. You were awesome. Those that were online, last week, you were awesome. So I'm expecting that we'll do the same today. My name is Titi Omole, and I am a director at Cause for Children, and also the founder of Cause for Children Limited. A little bit about us. Cause for Children Limited, we're not for profit, and our mission is to empower youth to thrive, and we do this through different programs that we've got. We've got workshop, which is one of the workshops is the one that you're attending right now. We also have our award ceremony as well, Truly to Hero Awards, annual ones. That one will open sometime in August, when you have the opportunity to nominate yourselves or any other person, any other young person that you think they've done very well and you would like for them to be recognized for what they've done. So, our ground rules, I think I've jumped ahead, but it doesn't really matter. Our ground rules is that you mute yourself, so mute your microphones. We're recording this, so if you don't want to be seen, please switch on your camera, switch it off, sorry, switch off your camera. If you don't want to be recorded, switch off, otherwise we would record you. And we will share this on our YouTube channel. If you have a question or you want to contribute, you could either use the chat box or you could raise your hand, and the facilitator will ask you to unmute yourself. And once you've answered, please may I ask that you mute yourself again, so that we can all have a very good experience, enjoy the session. Respect each other by being polite when you're talking, and also when you're asking questions, we'd like for you to be polite and participate. I can't overemphasize that. Please do that. If you have any comments or feedback, please do send it to causeforchildrenlimited@gmail.com. That's causeforchildrenltd@gmail.com. We're going to be asking you to do a few things. Please, we ask for your cooperation, and we might spill over 1 hour today. Please, we ask that you indulge us and stay, because we really want you to learn a lot and take a lot away if we're unable to pack that within an hour. Yes. Okay, I think the next slide is about myself, about our company. Okay, we've done that. All right, so I'm gonna keep quiet now and hand over to your facilitator, and that's Angie Enabo, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, especially for those of you that were not here last Saturday. Over to you, Angie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Angie, and I am a chartered accountant by day and a children's book author in the evenings and on weekends. So I really like to talk to people about money and hopefully get them really empowered about money from a very young age. So how many people here were here last week, Saturday? If you raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and say me, yes. Hi, Chiwendu, nice to see you again. Hi, Alima. Hi, Chineye. Nice to see you again. So I think some of you already know the drill. If you can please scan your QR code, just so you can tell us a little bit more about you, or if you go onto your browser and put in www.slido.com, and then the code is money management, you will be able to put in a little bit of information about you. So if we do that really quickly, let's say 2 minutes, and then we can get started. There's so much for us to cover today. So if you can please do that, that would be great. If you have any issues going into Slido or filling it in, if you just put a message in the chat, then we can have a look and hopefully resolve whatever the issues are. So let's try and get that done, please, as soon as possible so that we can start today's session. I'm just going to look if you've got any questions or if you're having difficulty filling in the Slido. Hi, Caris. Yes, I can see some people from last week. Thank you. So last week we talked about understanding money. If you remember, we defined what money was. We spoke about the different forms of money and the types of money. We talked about why we needed a budget, and then we had a go at creating our own budgets for the month of May. So question 1, who finished their homework? Who finished their budget? If you put your hand up, then I'll see. Yes, Glory, did you finish?
I finished it, but I'm trying to load it up right now.
Okay, you're trying to load it up. Perfect. And then Ayolua, did you finish yours as well?
Yes, I just need to put some more of the prices on it.
Okay, don't forget to email it over when you're properly done with it, so we can have a look. All right, so today we're going to be, who else is there? Oh, hi, Ramat. Did you finish yours as well? Did you email it over?
No, I'll do that now.
Okay, thank you. In today's session, we're going to go into a little bit more about savings, and I'll talk you through some key things with regards to your savings, and then we will talk about what it means to be wealthy and how to calculate our net worth. I'll talk you through that in a minute. So who else found out last week whether they've got a savings account and how much interest they earn on their savings? Did you get a chance to do that? Hi, Glory.
I found out if I had a savings account, and I do, but I didn't get to find out how much interest I have.
Okay, perfect. We'll park that one maybe for next week as well, because it's really important to know how much interest you earn on your savings, and we'll talk about why that's so important as well in today's session. Ayolua, did you find out if you had a savings account?
Yes, I do have a savings account.
Do you know what interest you, oh, someone's talking to you. Did you find out what interest rate you earn on your savings?
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't. Okay, we'll park that one. I mean, again, we'll talk about it maybe towards the end. So who can tell me today what are savings and why is it important to save money?
You need to save because
Who's that? I can't see who's talking. Who's talking?
me.
Who's me? What's your name?
Orion.
Oh, hi, Orion. I can't see you on my screen. Okay, carry on.
You can save things like house or car or like food or something like that.
Amazing. Yes. So you save, it's important to save money because then you can put money aside for food or a house or a car. Hi, Glory. Yes, I can see your hand. What are savings and why is it important to save money?
Savings are like an amount of money that you collect and you don't use it. And it's important to save because you can use it in the future to like invest in your business or something that you want to do.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you very much. Caris and Joshua?
Savings is money that you keep for something that you're going to use it for. Like a house, a car, your business, work.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really great. Those sound like really grown-up things though. What would you save money for, Joshua? Say again?
Maybe.
What kind of things do you save your own money for?
Games.
Games, yes, that's good. Yeah. What else?
Books.
Books. Yeah. Don't you save money for seats or like shoes? Yeah, those as well, I guess. Perfect. Okay, I'll go on to Aaliyah so that we can, Aaliyah, what are savings and why is it important to save money?
Savings are what you save for like the future.
Mm-hmm.
The money you save for the future.
Perfect. And why is it important to save money?
Because if you save money, you can save some for like bills, rent, and all of that.
Perfect.
Or
Do you
can
pay rent?
no, but you can save it.
Right, so you're
the
saving
long
it for when
term.
you grow up and when you're gonna have to pay rent in the future, you mean?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay, yeah, okay. That's good, very, very early age to start saving for rent actually. But yeah, you're very right. It's so that it's money that you put aside and you can save it for things that you will need in the future, right? And rent or a house or a car, your first bicycle or whatever it is could be something that you save money for. Perfect. Okay, those are already great answers. I'm just going to put what I've got up so we can talk through it. So I've said here, savings refer to the money that a person has left over after they have deducted all of their spending from their income over a given time. Ideally, you should at least pay when you're an adult, maybe not a child, you should at least pay for things like your gas and electric, your council tax and all those other things that you pay for. And then it's the money that you put aside. The key thing here is over a period of time. And you all have actually mentioned that today, which is really great because at least you know that savings aren't things that you just spend as and when you need it. It's something that you put aside over a period of time. I've also said that you can save money in a piggy bank or in a bank account for a modest interest. So who can tell me what's the difference between putting money in a piggy bank versus putting money in a bank account? Hi, Chinwendu. Joshua, you still got your hand up. I don't know if you meant to.
Yeah, I was gonna answer the question.
Okay.
So I think the difference is that the bank account, you have to transfer the money to get it physically. Since it's on an account,
Yes.
on the piggy bank, you can just take it out.
Perfect. So once easier access, you can get money quicker from your piggy bank, but in the bank, you would have to maybe log into your account or go into the bank or something like that. Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Lori, I can see your hand up as well.
So a bank account is like you always get interest from it, and
Perfect.
it's safer in a bank account, whereas in a piggy bank you can be tempted to go and get it.
Amazing. That's a really great point as well. And actually one of the ones I wanted to draw out is interest. So when you remember last week when we talked about using credit cards and using money that's not your own, we talked about interest in the form of the money that you then pay to the bank or to the person who's lending you the money. When you're saving your money, you can earn interest in the bank on the money that you save, which was why last week I'd asked you to find out how much interest you were earning when your money was in the bank. So when you put money in a piggy bank, it's good to save, and that's one form of savings, but you're not likely going to earn interest on that because it's just sitting in your bedroom. But when you put it in the bank, however, you are likely to earn interest rate on your money. However, like Caris and Joshua, I don't know who answered it, when you put your money in the bank, the other thing to remember is you may not be able to access it straight away. You may need to log into your bank, move it around, go to the cash point, get the money out, and so we need to bear all those kind of things in mind. Okay. And then the other answer I had for the importance of saving money were three things, actually. The first one was we can use our savings to pay for unexpected costs that come up. You break you break something, or you want to buy a new game, or your console stopped working, whatever it is. You can pay for unexpected things. Another importance of saving money, like I've just said, is you can earn interest. So you can make that money grow by putting it in the bank, and then the bank gives you interest on it. So if you put £10 in the bank and say the bank gave you interest of 10%, how much money is that going to be? Who can tell me really quickly? So you put £10 in the bank, interest rate is 10%. Yes, Glory.
£11.
Perfect. Yes, that's £11 you would have, because 10% equals £1. £1 plus £10 equals £11. So your money actually grows when you're earning interest on it. Perfect. You can also buy things that you can, that's meant to say that you can use as gifts, you know, for friends and family, like if it's your brother or sister's birthday, or you're going to the cinema for somebody's birthday, then at least you've got savings that you can go into and spend money from there. Now, my other question is going to be quick fire today. How should we save money? So we already talked about putting it in a bank. We already talked about potentially putting it in maybe a piggy bank. What other ways can we save money? Yes, Carison Joshua.
Like money that you might like save. You should save money from, like, if you get some from people, and you should keep it until, like, you've got enough money for this stuff you need.
Perfect. So you keep money when you get money from people, maybe on your birthday or at Christmas, and you keep it for the future. Okay. Orion, is that you?
Yeah. You can sell a house or a TV.
Yes, you can sell things, and you can then save the money that you earn from when you sell things that you no longer use, like old toys or old clothes, you know, and things like that. Perfect. Chiwendu, your hand's up.
Like in the house, you can turn off unnecessary electronics and stuff that aren't in use at the time.
Amazing. Yes. So you can, that is a really good point. You can save money by using less. If you leave the room or you go into the bathroom or the kitchen, you can switch the lights off, turn off the taps when you finish washing your hands, not leave things plugged in. Those are also ways of saving money. It doesn't always have to be when you've got physical cash in your hand to save money. Okay, so those are really, really good answers. I'm going to go to what I've got written down, just so we go through it. So I said you can save money by using a piggy bank, for example. You can use savings accounts like we've talked about. You can use investment accounts as well, one of which is called a JISA, Junior Individual Savings Account. There are also other types of investment accounts for young people, one of which are called LISA, Lifetime Individual Savings Account. Or you can save money by other investments, for example, in cryptocurrency. Who can tell me what an example of a cryptocurrency is?
Me.
Okay, go on. I don't know who's me. Is that Orion?
Yeah.
Okay.
A cryptocurrency means how much money you got.
Oh no, I put the next. How much money you've got? That's a good attempt. Anybody else wants to tell Orion what cryptocurrency is? Yes, Joendo, I can see your hand, but I can't see you for some reason.
I think one of them is Bitcoin.
Yes, perfect. So the alternative sort of sources of Charmaine, I can see a new person. Yes, Charmaine, did you want to say something?
Bitcoin.
Yes, perfect.
ApeCoin.
What? Yes, Bitcoin is one of them. There are other ones as well. But anyway, we'll move on from those because they're not so popular at the moment in terms of when you go to a bank. There's somebody in the waiting room. I've been trying to admit, I can't seem to do it. if you could please help me, facilitators. There's somebody here who keeps popping up. KRT Tuition that's trying to get into the room. Perfect. So we've got another quick fire game because the time is just flying so quickly. So we've got a quick exercise that we're going to do now, and it's called Name the Bank. If you've got a pen and paper, just write down the names of these banks. If you recognize them, write their names down. Don't say it yet. I'll give you 1 minute. Write it down on a piece of paper, and then I'll go through it with you and we'll answer number 1 to 12. So 1 minute starts now. You can guess, even if you're not sure. But I think most of them should be fairly straightforward. Okay. Half a minute left. All right. Number 1, who can tell me what that bank is?
I know.
Who's I? You need to tell me what your name is.
It's me, Orion. Sorry.
Hi, Orion. What's number 1?
It's HSB.
Say it again.
HSB.
Okay, that's a good attempt. That's not the final answer. Anybody else? I see 4 people have got their hand up. I can't see.
It's HSBS. No, it's HSBC.
Who's that?
Just Caris. It was Caris.
Oh, hi, Caris. Okay, that's a good answer. HSB.
C.
Perfect. Clap for yourself. That is the answer. Number 2.
Okay, go Henry.
No, you have to raise your hand up first, and then I can call you. We need to get somebody else to answer that one. Ayolua, number 2.
Go Henry.
Perfect. That's 1 point. So just make a note of how many points you get, because remember, there's going to be prizes for people who get their answers right. So HSBC, Go Henry, number 3. Let me see who's not answered one before. Chinwendu.
Monzo.
Perfect. Yes, Monzo. Number 4. Caris and Joshua. Number 4.
That twist.
Perfect. NatWest. Good answer. Number 5.
I know.
Wait, I'm going to call people out so everyone gets a chance to answer. Number 5, Ramat.
Metro.
Correct. Perfect. Good answer. Number 6, Glory.
What if you put Metro Bank?
Metro Bank's correct as well. Yes. That's correct.
Lovely.
Glory, number 6.
Barclays.
Barclays. Perfect. Number 7, Chineye.
Bank of America.
Bank of America. Perfect. Number 8. Chinwendu. Oh, hands are down now. Number 8. Who's got number 8? Ayolua, you've got your hand up for number 8.
I didn't mean to keep it up.
Okay, Charmaine, what's number 8?
Santander.
No, not quite. Nearly there, but not quite. Santander's got red signs for its logo. Has anyone got another answer for number 8? Otherwise, I'll tell you it. No answers. Okay, number 8 is Bank of Scotland. Number 9. Oh my God, yeah. Caris and Joshua.
I was guessing it was Bank of Nigeria.
Because of the colours?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it's probably wrong.
That's a good guess. I would as well because of the colours. Anybody else? This one's a bit hard, actually. Chineye, your hands up.
Is it Bank of the West?
No, it's not, actually. Okay, I'll tell this one. This one is called BNP Paribas. It's a French bank. This one's quite hard, actually. Okay, number 10. Alima. Alima, have you got number 10 or is it Glory? I can see up.
It was number 11. I only know number 11.
Oh, you only know number 11. Okay, number 10. Who can guess number 10? It's like extra point if you can get number 10. Chinea, your hand's up.
Oh, sorry, it was by accident.
Oh, okay. Carison, Joshua, your hand's up.
Oh, I forgot it.
Okay, this is Commercial Bank of China. It's also quite hard. I don't know why banks tend to have red signs, but this one's Commercial Bank of China. Number 11, Rama.
Lloyd's Bank.
Perfect, yes, Lloyd's Bank. Number 12. Hold on, there's quite a few hands up for number 12. Let's see, Chiwendu.
Is it a German bank?
Yes, it is.
Is it called the Deutsche Bank?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Perfect. So that's Deutsche Bank, Deutsche Bank, whatever one you want to call it. Perfect. So who got 12 out of 12? Rama, did you get 12 out of 12?
Oh, no, it was up by accident.
Okay, 8 out of 12. Chiwendu, impressive. Please send your address to Cause for Children. We do have some gifts for the winners. So 8 out of 12. Did anyone get higher than 8 out of 12? Ramat, what did you get?
I got 9.
Perfect. A prize awaits you as well. 5 out of 12? Who's got 5 out of 12? Ayolua, well done. 4 out of 12? I can't see any other hands up. All right, well, we'll move on to the next one. Those are very good answers and you guys scored really well. It's really important to know who you bank with, recognize these banks, and some of them, like we've said, the mix of these banks, some of them are high street banks, some of them are investment banks, like we said earlier when we talked about places where we could save our money. And the main difference between a high street bank and an investment bank is about how quickly you can access your money. You know, when we talked about piggy banks versus putting money in the bank, some investment banks or investment accounts operate differently. You might not find them on the high street, for example. You might not be able to take your money out as quickly as you would like. If you wanted, for example, some of them are easy access, fixed access savings accounts or current accounts, for example. So there are differences between high street banks, investment banks, or your own wallet or your own piggy banks. So the access and how quickly you can get or touch or use your money differs based on whichever one of these banks that you choose to go with. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about really quickly again are some of the key features of a savings account. So how many people here can access their own savings accounts by themselves? Aliyah, Chimwendu. So do you guys recognize any of these things here in terms of the key features? So I've put here, obviously you need login details. If you're under 18, your parents probably manage your account for you, but I don't know, and maybe you can tell me, when they do log into the account, do they tell you this is how much you've got saved at the moment, this is how much you've got earned in interest so far, or if there are costs, this is how much, you know, is left? And then do you talk about it in terms of, this is my uni money, this is my money for my gifts? How does it work? Let me know. But I've put here key features of savings accounts include your login access, which you or your parents might have, interest rate, which is the money that you earn based on what you save in the account, bank statements. You should have a balance or something that shows you a balance like we can see here on here. And you should also, if you opted for it, you would also have a bank card. Okay, so 2 questions for you. The first one is, who's ever seen their savings account in terms of what it looks like, the interest, bank statements, and all the things that I've mentioned here? And the second question is, do you currently look after your account, or do you see, you know, when your parents maybe look after your account for you? Do you know how much is in there? Do you put money aside for different things? Let me know. You can raise your hand and unmute yourself if you want to talk. Ayolua, your hand is up. I don't know if you want to say something.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to put it down.
Okay. Hi, Chiwendu. Yes, your hand's up.
Yeah, with me, I have 2 savings accounts. The one that my parents have for me. With that one, I've only seen it a few times. But then with my personal one, that's the one that I see.
Okay. And do you see all of these things here on the left-hand side, or on my left-hand side on your savings account?
Yes.
And do you know how much, say, for example, interest you earn on that savings?
So for the savings account that I have with Lloyds Bank, they pay you, I think it was 0.1% interest over a period of 12 months.
Okay.
I put in the type.
That's that. Please mute yourself if you're not talking. That's really good that you can at least track that. And then most people's savings accounts, you either have different pots. This example here, this looks like someone's got their current account and their credit card accounts. But on my savings accounts, for example, I can put in money for going out, money for buying a house, money for this. You can create different pots and see what you're saving for or how much you've got in each pot. Yes, Aliyah, you've got your hand up.
I have a savings account and a spending account, and in the savings account, it shows all of that, but the bank statement.
Oh, you don't see the bank statement on that's a good point, actually. Some people, like I have with my HSBC account, you need to go up into one of the headers on the top and then click on something called statements. And then on there is when you then download what your statement is. However, if you do log into your account, the list of everything you've spent money on, or whether you've taken it out or paid for things, that list is in itself a statement. But if you did want to download it and say, I want to see how much I've spent or how much I've taken out for the last year or for the last month or 2 months, you can go in there on the top and download something called statements. So have another look when you log in next time and make sure you can download your statement. And who can tell us why it's important to have statements with your bank accounts? Yes, Chiwendu.
Because in there you can see all of your previous transactions and you can track the unwanted ones.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, that's a really good point. You can track unwanted ones. You can raise queries with the bank, see if there's something that was charged twice, maybe that should have been charged once, and things like that. What other reason do we think, why do we think it's important to have bank statements as well? Charmaine.
So, for example, if your credit card gets stolen and someone buys something with it, you could see and you'd know if to block your card or not.
Yes, that is also for security reasons. A really good answer, thank you. Yes, for security reasons, it's also good to make it a habit of viewing your bank statement so you can spot very quickly unwanted transactions, or even block your cards, you know, if it's gotten into the wrong hands. That's a very good answer. So another quick one, which I'm going to say, because again, we're running out of time already, is it's really good to review and study your bank statements, because actually it tells you a little bit about yourself. If you notice from your bank statements, actually, I tend to buy lots of tea and coffees in the morning, or lots of sweets and chocolates. So I spend my money, you know, this here or there. It can start to tell you a little bit more about your spending habits, so that then in the future, if you wanted to make changes, you know exactly where to go to. You know, this is where I spend my money on this time of the day, or maybe when I go on holiday, or at weekends, or on the weekday. You know, you can start to observe lots of patterns about the way that you spend. Aliyah, your hand's still up. I don't know if you wanted to say something or not, but I'll move on really quickly onto the next slide, which is talking about key terminology. So you would remember that I said what all of this is still talking about savings accounts, about, you know, how we save our money, where we save our money, and the key things that we need to know as people who save money. Okay, so some very key terminology that I think is worth knowing. I've put here 4 key things. The first one, like somebody mentioned, I think it was Caris that mentioned earlier, about how easy it is to access your account if you've put money, for example, in a piggy bank. So we have 2 main types, I would say, of savings accounts. One's called easy access savings account, and the other one's called fixed savings account. Now, with an easy access savings account, this is an account that generally pays a good interest rate compared to a current account, for example. And the key thing, though, is that it gives you the flexibility to withdraw or take out your money whenever you want. So most people, I've got an easy access savings account, for example, where I put a certain amount into an account every month. And if, say, I needed to repair the car or buy something unexpected in the house, then I could go into that savings account and I could transfer money into my current account and pay for that. So that's called an easy access savings account. Now,
can I interrupt? Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. There's sorry about that. There's a question here. Someone's asked, what is a terminology?
Okay. So terminology, like I put in the thing here, these just means words or phrases or descriptions or terms that you would come across when you're dealing with certain things. So now that we're talking about banks, we're looking at key banking words, otherwise known as terminology. So just words, really, but key words that you would associate with banks or savings accounts. Does that answer your question? Sorry, I missed that in the chats. Does that answer it? Okay. So the next one that we'll talk about, a fixed savings account. So again, you can find out if you want after this session, what kind of savings account do you have? Is it an easy access one, or is it a fixed savings account, or is it an investment account? You can find out after this. So fixed savings accounts are other types of savings accounts that tend to offer you fixed interest or guaranteed interest rates. Sometimes they're a little bit higher than the interest rate you would get on your easy access savings account, and I'll ask you a question after that. But the thing with fixed access fixed savings accounts is you can't just go into it and transfer money whenever you want. Some of them would say to you, fix your savings for a year or for 2 years or for 3 years, and then we'll give you, you know, a fixed interest on your savings over that time. Another key word or key term that you need to know is something called AER. You might not come across it now, but you probably will in the future. So AER stands for annual equivalent rate. And what this means is the actual interest rate that you earn on your savings account after compounding. So last week, when we talked about budget, we also, if you remember, we talked about compounding or compound interest. So that literally compounding means just one thing on top of the other. So your interest rate that you earn on your savings, the AER is the actual interest rate that you earn once you've accounted for compounding as well, okay? AER can also be known as APY, which means annual percentage yield. All of this is just talking about the amount of interest or the extra money that you're earning when you save your money with a bank or with a financial institution. When you put your money in a piggy bank, there's no interest on it unless your parents put interest in it for you. But we generally don't talk about those as AER or APY, okay? And then APR is another key term or a key word, and it's called annual percentage rate. Now, this one links to what we talked about last week when we talked about credit cards or paying for things with other people's money, the bank's money. This is the amount of money that it's going to cost you each year when you borrow money. I don't think you're borrowing money now, but when you get to uni or when you're about to buy a house or get a credit card, you should always remember that there is always, if you read the very small print on the bottom, banks will always charge you interest, usually, when you borrow money from them. And what you see, APR is the interest rate that you would then pay to the bank when you borrow money from them. You know, what I advised last week, if you can, it's better to pay for things with cash or with your own money. If you borrow money from somebody else, they would usually charge you for it. So a really quick question before we go into the other session. Why do we think banks pay us interest or give us interest? You know, when a bank says your AER or your APY is 5% or 1%, why are they giving us money? Do they just really like us and just really want to just give us some money because we're saving? Why? Yes, Charmaine.
I think it's because if they're giving you interest, you might like the bank more and you want to return.
That's a very good answer. Yes, that is one incentive to keep you saving your money with them and being a regular customer. Who else can tell me why banks give us interest? Ayolua, your hand is up.
What I think is that it's like a thank you. You put your money into that specific bank, and like as they're thanking you or something, they'll give you interest over time for how long you've put your money in the bank.
Yes, so it's an incentive that they give you or a reward for putting your money in their bank. That's also a good answer. Charmaine, your hand's up again.
Also, so the bank can make money for themselves.
Get a prize for that. Yes. So banks are usually not very, you know, they're not this nice organization that's sitting there and thinking, oh, we just want to give people things, you know, we like them so much, they're banking with us. No. So a bank is a business. And as you know, when you have a business, you try to make money. So when we save our money into the bank looks after our money, allows us access to our money, as we can see, but they then use our money for their own business as well. Some of the things that banks use our money for could be lending our money to other people or investing it on the stock market for us. And so the interest that they then pay us at the end of the month is almost like a share of our investment. So they've used our money to do some business and we're getting a piece of the return of the profits that they earn. So it's not necessarily because they're nice and they just want to give us free gifts. It's because they use the money like any business would, okay? And so the money that they make on it, they keep some for themselves and then they give us some. And that part of the money that they give to us is what we then call the interest earned on savings. Yeah? Okay, so we're really running behind now. So I'm gonna skip really quickly and maybe not a 5-minute break, but we'll take a short break and then we'll go into the next section where we're talking about being rich versus being wealthy versus calculating your net worth. So if you've got any questions from this morning's session, let me know. I know we've rushed through it quite quickly, but just remember the key things. We've talked about savings accounts, key features of our savings account. We've talked about other ways that we could save money. We've talked about key words that we need to look out for. And then just now we finished talking about why we earn interest when we save money. And we've realized the banks are not just being nice, they're spending the money and using it for their business, which is the business of being in a bank or looking after people's money. And the interest is how much we've earned or how much they've chosen to give us from the profits that they have made. Okay, so we'll take a really short break. It's probably not going to be 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. But can I please ask you in the break to complete the About You form? For those who haven't done so, please scan the QR code on your screen or go into www.slido.com. Code is called hashtag MoneyMGT to just put in some really, really quick questions about you. So I will see you back at 4:55. So we've got 4 minutes for a quick break, grab a drink of water, and then we'll go to the afternoon session. We're going now to the second half or quarter of the session, where we're going to be exploring wealth and net worth. Okay, so as we start this session, I would like you to tell me what it means to be rich and what it means to be wealthy. And then it's 3 questions in one. And then if you earn your salary, is what I mean. If you had a job and you earned £100,000 a year, does that mean you're rich or does that mean you're wealthy? Who's going to go first? Chiwendu.
That means that you're wealthy.
So do you want to start with the first one, and then we'll go through?
Oh, what does it mean to be rich? I feel like there's more ways to be rich than just with money, as in you can be rich in like kind of blessings as well, because when you receive stuff from people and like people are kind of generous, or you just receive love and good stuff from people, I feel like you can be rich in that as well.
Absolutely. So it's not, riches aren't just tangible things that you can have. There could be intangible things as well. Perfect. And what does it mean to be wealthy?
Financially strong.
Financially strong. Okay, perfect. And then if you earned £100,000 a year, that makes you, sorry, I don't know what you said earlier.
Wealthy.
Wealthy. Okay, good. That's a good attempt. Thank you. Glory. Or
I think
next.
I think what it means to be rich is like when you've used the money that you've earned to pay your bills and stuff like that, you have a lot of savings left over.
Okay. So when you're rich, you have a lot of savings. Okay. What does it mean when you're wealthy?
It's like you have like loads of houses and buildings that you own.
Okay. Okay, that's actually really good. Okay, and then if you earn £100,000 a year, does that make you rich or wealthy?
Fit in the middle. That's what I think.
Something in the middle. That's not rich or wealthy. Okay, well, that's a good answer, because really, I mean, £100,000 is not that much money. It's a lot of money, but it's not that much. Okay, perfect. Orion, I'll take one more answer. Put your answers in the chat and then I'll read them out just so we can move on. Orion, okay, tell me, what does it mean to be rich?
Rich means you have lots of savings.
Lots of savings, okay. So what does it mean to be wealthy?
Wealthy, you have lots of cars and lots of bedroom. A nice house.
Okay, it's really good. There's a theme coming out here. So rich, most people associate with money and having savings. And then wealthy, you think when people have, we'll come to you to explain the term later, when people have assets. So cars or maybe liabilities, houses and things like that. Okay, and then if you earn £100,000 a year, does that make you rich or wealthy?
Rich because £100,000 is like much money.
Okay.
If you're wealthy, you will get like like 1 million, 1 million per pound every
Okay.
year.
Okay, that's amazing. So actually, wealth, according to Orion, probably starts from about 1 million. I like that. I'd like to be wealthy myself. Okay, I can see an answer here from Harrison Joshua in the chat. It says, not just lots of money, but anything. I think you mean being rich, to have a lot, not just money, a lot of just money. Okay, I'm confused, but I think I get what you're trying to say. Aaliyah says, when you have £100,000, you have loads of money, but it depends on what you do with it. You could focus part of your money on charity. That is a very good point, and actually the next one we're going to be talking about. So now, we're having so much fun, time's just flying. So I'm gonna tell you what I've written down. So I've said, rich means having a great deal of money or assets. Like we've all said, you can have a lot of money, and you know, a lot of money means different things to different people. Like Orion said, it could be hundreds of thousands of pounds or millions of pounds. You can have a lot of money or assets. Now, wealth, on the other hand, means having a high net worth. Who's heard of the word net worth before? Glory, perfect. Chiwendu, perfect. Now, what we're going to, Alima, thank you, great. So it's really important to differentiate between someone who's rich, and sometimes you see people who are rich, maybe film stars or rap stars who've got lots of bling and nice shoes and maybe a nice phone, and they've got lots of money or whatever they might call assets, right? But when a person is actually wealthy, they have a high net worth. And net worth means assets less liabilities. So we're going to talk about those now, okay? Before we go on to that, can somebody tell me what an asset is? Harrison Joshua.
Is an asset stuff that isn't money?
Stuff that isn't money, it could be, yes.
Is it like an alternative to money?
It could be, yes, because if you sell an asset, you will get money. Yes, that's a very good answer. Chiwendu?
It's things like your car or your house and stuff that they can take as collateral damage.
Yeah. So what you're saying is things that have a value attached to them that you can potentially sell or you can exchange for money. Yes, Aaliyah.
An asset is anything you own that adds financial value.
Correct. That adds financial value or that has financial value?
Adds financial value.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say has or adds?
Has.
Has, okay. Anything that has a financial value. Yep, that's a good answer. Okay, I'll tell you what I've got written down. So I've said here that an asset is something that can add money to your pocket. A liability is something that you owe or that loses its value over time, or something that can take money from your pocket. Okay, now bear that definition in mind, because we're now going to go into some quick fire questions about what an asset is and what are liabilities. And remember, we're talking about this in the context of being rich versus being wealthy, and you can decide what you want to be. Do you want to have lots of money, lots of bling, or do you want to be wealthy? Wealthy people usually can have a lot of money or can sustain their wealth or their riches for a longer period of time, because they don't just have cash. And as we know, cash can go up and down. The value of things can be very expensive or really cheap. But if you have a high net worth and so you're wealthy, you're likely going to be able to be called rich or afford things for a longer period of time, okay? And so right now we've got a few lovely examples on the screen, which I can't see all of them, but I will ask you quick fire question. Is a phone, an iPhone, an asset or a liability, and tell me why? Ayoluwa, your hand is up. And why?
I think it's a
Oh,
liability.
Ayoluwa is
something that has,
speaking. Sorry,
financial
Ayoluwa is
value.
speaking. Can he tell me why he thinks
Something
it's
that has value. Hello.
I think that a phone is a liability because apart from buying the phone, you have to pay for like everything else inside of the phone, like things you need on it and the electricity for it and things like that.
perfect? So because it takes money out of your pocket, you think that it's a liability. That's a very, very, very good answer. Carison Joshua, is an iPhone an asset or a liability? And tell me why. Carison Joshua, you've got your hand up.
Is an iPhone an asset, a liability? Because asset because you can use your phone for money.
That is interesting. Yes. How can you use your phone for money?
Like for the app for your credit card.
Okay, you mean to store money or to access your money on it? Okay, that's a very good answer. We go
And
really
to share.
we've got so many, and to share. Okay, we'll park that one for a time, and then we'll go on to the next one because the time is just flying. A scooter, is a scooter an asset or a liability? And tell me why. Glory, you've got your hand up.
I think it would be a liability because
Okay.
when you buy a scooter, the scooter might like stop working or something. So then you're going to need to like repair it and you'll need to use your money to repair it as well.
That's a very good answer. Perfect. We'll go on to the next one. A car, a Mercedes AMG car. Charmaine, you've got your hand up. Is this an asset or a liability and why?
No, I had my hand up from the last question.
From the last one. Okay, that's fine. Aaliyah, you've got your hand up for the car. Is this an asset or a liability and why?
I think it's an asset because even though the car can like damage, you still have to like pay for like MOT, and you can even think about changing the car if you want.
Okay, so is it an asset or a liability? Remember, an asset is something that brings money to you. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket.
Liability.
It's a liability. Okay, that's a good answer. We'll go to the next one. A credit card. Is a credit card an asset or a liability? I'm trying to find someone who hasn't spoken before. Orion, your hand's up. Is a credit card an asset or a liability and why?
It's like asset because you need to like buy things.
Okay, so it's an asset because you use it to buy things. Okay, and we'll go on to the last one really quickly. A house. Remember this house from last week? This is our 4-bedroom house in Kent. Is this an asset or a liability and why? Carison Joshua?
A liability.
Tell me why.
Because you have to pay for the bills, the water and the electricity.
I love it. Yes. And the council tax and the washing machine and the fridge. Yes. Okay, perfect. Chiwendu, your hand's still up, so I'll ask you to answer for whichever one you've put your hand up, and then we can. Yes, I'll come to you after Chiwendu, Glory.
I was gonna say that I think the house is both an asset and a liability because it does take money out of your pocket because of maintenance costs and mortgage and stuff like that. However, if you were to rent out your house, then you would be able to gain money from that as well.
Perfect. Yes. If you had a lodger, for example, or in fact, if you were to look at the value of the house at a particular time. So if the value of the house, for example, was then way more than how much you paid for it, then it could be an asset because at that point it could bring money into your pocket. Remember, an asset is something that brings money to you. A liability is something that takes money away from you. If you have more assets that bring money to you, then you have a high net worth, which then means you're a wealthy person. You have money for a long period of time. If you have a high amount of liabilities, so things that take money away from you, over time, you will have a low net worth, and then you're not going to be wealthy over a long period of time, okay? Glory, you wanted to add something about the car. Please unmute yourself.
So I think the car is a bit of both an asset and a liability,
Yes.
because you can sell the car to earn money, but also you need to pay for stuff like the petrol and the insurance if the car breaks.
Exactly. That's a very good answer. And actually, all of these things on the screen could be assets or liabilities. So again, when we're learning about money and money management, it's really important to understand what these things are and also not to judge people. You know, when you see them, somebody could have a phone, one phone or two phones, but perhaps they've got an eBay shop on their phone where they sell shoes or clothes or something. That phone, although it could be a liability because they have to buy some top up on it and repair it if it breaks, they also make money on their phone. So that could be an asset. If someone's got a Mercedes AMG car, but say perhaps they've got an Instagram page where they're an influencer for something. And so if they take nice photos, for example, they might get some money for it or some promotion money for it, then it could be an asset to them. For the average person, a car's a liability because it just takes money from you and takes money. You buy petrol, you repair it, MOT and all that, you know? So it all depends on the use. If you use it in a way that it brings money to you, then it's an asset. If you use it in a way that takes money away from you, then it's a liability. And why do we care about this even in the first place? Is because ideally what we want is to be wealthy. So that's to have money over a long period of time. And how do we make sure we're wealthy? By having a high net worth. And how do we have a high net worth? By having more assets than liabilities. So we always need to think whenever you're spending money, am I spending my money on assets or am I spending money on liabilities? And we all spend money on liabilities, by the way. We all have to pay our bills, you know, but you have to always measure, am I spending more on assets or more on liabilities? And again, remember, one way that we can do that is by making sure we have access to our bank statements, because our bank statements tell us our habits or our patterns around spending money, okay? So all of these things are so important, and it's worth more than just earning 100,000 a year or 50,000 a year, or this is not just the money, but it's how we use the money, okay? So I've got a quick, oh dear, I've got a quick exercise for us to do, and I think I'm probably going to have to finish with this one because we've run out of time. So we have 3 people in this scenario. I'll read all of the, get a pen and paper, and you can tell me, don't shout it out, just tell me who you think is rich, who you think is wealthy, and why. Okay, so the first person we've got here is a lady called Sarah. Sarah earns £600, beg your pardon, £600 a month. She buys a pair of new Nike trainers for £80. She has McDonald's for lunch every single day, and it costs her about £120 per month. Again, think about our budget that we did last week as well, okay? She bought her Nintendo Switch that she's always wanted for £150. She saves £50. She buys a bus pass for £30 and gives her dad, so nice, she gives her dad £70. Well, last month she borrowed some money from her colleague Joe at work, and now she has to pay Joe £100 back this month. Question, is Sarah rich or wealthy? And you've got to tell me why. Charmaine.
I think she's rich because she's got more liabilities than assets. Because if she's spending money on all of these things, she's not really got many things that like add financial value.
Okay, so she's rich because she maybe, actually, I wouldn't give the answer yet. Thank you. That's a very good answer. Let's hear Ramat's answer.
I don't really think that she's rich or wealthy because she's borrowing money from her colleague, which means that she doesn't have enough money to spend.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you don't think she's rich or wealthy. That's a good answer, actually. And again, we can see some of her behavioral habits, like you said. I mean, she earns £600 a month. That should be a lot of money and good money for all her expenses. But if she's borrowing, then it doesn't look like she's got a good handle on her finances. Aaliyah, I'll take one more answer and then we'll go to the next scenario.
I wouldn't say she's rich and wealthy too, because in the first line, it says she buys McDonald's for lunch every day, but then again, she has the money for McDonald's, but she has to borrow money from her colleague.
Exactly. So I think, yes, thank you very much, Aaliyah. This is a very good answer. So to wrap it up, I think if you looked at Sarah's wage or her bank statement, you say, oh, you're rich, you've got £600 coming in a month. But then, like we said, what is she doing with the money she gets? She's buying a lot of liabilities, Nike shoes. It doesn't say here that she maybe earns money from her shoes. Maybe she does some stunts with them. I don't know. She's spending £80 on shoes, buying McDonald's every day, buying a Nintendo Switch that she's not gaming with or doing anything that's bringing money in. So it looks like all of her money is just gone all on liability. So I wouldn't say, I think you might mistake her for being rich, but I wouldn't say she was rich or wealthy. She just doesn't really look after her money very well. It looks like, I mean, she saves, how much does she save? £50 out of 600 is not a lot. Okay, second scenario, Joshua. Joshua earns £500 a month, buys a lovely new scooter for £150, takes packed lunch to work every day, saves £100, gives £20 to the homeless, buys hot chocolate on some days a month, and that costs him £30, gives £150 to his mum, and spends £60 on dinner and a gift for his friend Alice's birthday. Joseph, beg your pardon, not Joshua, Joseph. So is Joseph rich or wealthy, and why? So I've got a few hands up. Ramat.
I think he's rich, wealthy, because he saves enough money. He saves quite a lot of money, and he still has enough to give to other people.
Yes.
And he earns quite a lot in the month. And he knows how to manage his money so he doesn't use it all up.
Yes, that's a very good answer. Glory.
I would say he's rich because he buys himself stuff that he wants to buy, but also he saves money by taking a packed lunch to work instead of eating out.
Yes. So thank you, Glory. That's a really good answer. So we need to always remember the little formula that we started with here. So being rich, like we said, you can earn a lot of money and that could make you rich. But remember that wealth is a factor or is determined by your net worth. And if you have a high net worth, meaning you have higher assets, that makes you wealthy. So let's bear that in mind when we're doing the workings for these are the scenarios. Let's take one more answer really quickly from Charmaine.
I was gonna say he's neither, because although he's he's managing his money better than Sarah was, he's still like we know he takes packed lunch every day to work, but he's still giving money away and all of that, and that just
Yeah, okay. So another thing I want you to think about is, does Joseph have more assets than liabilities, or does Joseph have more liabilities than assets? You can work it out by determining whether each of those things fall into the bracket of an asset or a liability. Orion, your hands up.
He assessed.
So you think it's got more assets than liabilities, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good answer. Glory, your hands up.
I think he has more liabilities than assets.
Yes, I think so too, because 150 on the scooter, 150 hot chocolate, yeah, there are more liabilities than assets. Perhaps over a period of time, maybe over 6 months or a year, he might be able to build up his assets, but currently it looks like it's got, yeah, more liabilities than assets. Okay, again, in the interest of time, let's go on to the third scenario. So now we've got Emily. Emily earns £350 a month, the lowest of all the three. She puts £200 into her savings accounts, takes packed lunch to work, gives, it's very important to gives £50 to her mum, saves £30 towards her Nintendo Switch, which she's going to buy in December. She gives £10 to charity, buys her bus pass for £30, and her friend Jonathan's birthday is coming up. But what she's done is she's gone and bought some arts and craft items for £12 so that she could make him a lovely birthday present and spend £18 on his birthday dinner. Is Emily rich or wealthy, and why? I'm waiting to see. Yes, Orion, your hands up.
He is rich.
Okay, why?
Because he saves £30 to watch her Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
And £10 to charity.
Okay.
And buy her bus pass of £30.
Yes, that's a good answer. So if Emily's able to afford all of those things, then we can say she's rich, because then she's got the money to pay for those things. Yes, that is a good answer and one way of looking at it. Anyone else? Is Emily rich or wealthy, and why? There's 3 hands up. I can't seem to. Yes, Chinwendu.
I think that she is, I think that she's wealthy because she put 200 into her savings account, and obviously that will sustain the value no matter how much time will pass. Yeah. So and if she leaves the savings alone, then she'll only get more put inside that account. Yes. And then with the other things, she saved the £30 towards her Nintendo Switch, but she planned a date that she was going to buy it rather than just spending the money straight away. So, yeah.
Yes, that's a very good, really, really good answer. I'm going to come to you next, Glory, but I wanted to answer Chinea's question on the chat. What happens if you have more liabilities than assets? Can anyone answer that one really quickly before I answer it? I don't know now who's answering what question. Chiwendu, yeah, do you want to answer that one? What happens if you have more liabilities than assets?
Then your money will run out quicker because you're just losing money and not making any back.
Yes, perfect. That's a good answer. If you have more liabilities than assets, you're not likely going to be wealthy or be able to keep or sustain a high net worth over a long period of time. So liabilities, remember, are things that take money from you. So if you don't have anything bringing money in and all you've got are just things that are taking money away from you, you're probably going to run out of money or be poor quite quickly, even if you earn a high salary. So remember, the whole point of this is to realize that what you earn does not necessarily make you a wealthy person. And what people look like, if they've got, you know, nice shoes and bling and all of that, doesn't mean they have a high net worth or they're wealthy people. It's all about what you do with your money over a period of time. Okay, so back to Emily's scenario, Glory.
I would say she's wealthy because she's thinking about the unexpected cost that she might have to pay. So she's saving £200.
Yes.
And she's also like, for her friend Jonathan's birthday, she's not buying him a gift, but she's making him one, which is also saving money, because if you're buying one, it's going to cost more than if you make one.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, I think she's wealthy as well, because, well, oh, actually, I've said the answer. Aaliyah, let's hear your assessment.
I think she's wealthy because she saves 200 for savings, 30 for a Nintendo Switch, which she intends to buy in December.
Yes.
So she can save money, but then she can also give out to charity with people.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. And I think this scenario shows us a lot of things. I think the first thing we can see here is that despite the fact that Emily earns the least of all of our three people, she actually is the wealthiest. Do you see that? So Sarah earns 600, Joseph earns 500, Emily actually earns 350. But again, when we go back to the formula, assets minus liabilities, and we want to have more assets than liabilities, we can see here that Emily, her assets, which is your savings, is something that brings you money, right? Her assets are 200 and her liabilities are only 150. So she has more assets than she has liabilities. If she carries on this trend or doing this every single month for a year or 2 years or 15 years or until she finishes uni, she would be very, very wealthy because she's got a high net worth. So I think what's really key, I'll come back to you, Glory, what it's really key to take away from this section here, first of all, is to know what assets are, what liabilities are, how we can increase our assets, how we can reduce our liabilities, and the fact that being rich or having a lot of money at the end of the month does not guarantee that you will be wealthy or have a high net worth over a period of time. It's all about how you spend your money, how you budget. It sounds to me as well like Emily probably budgets compared to the other two, because she's able to say, I'm going to put £30 toward my Nintendo Switch in December. It's only June, what month are we? April. It's only April, and she's able to say, look, it's going to cost me so much money by December, and I will save or I will budget towards that. So I think it's really, really important for us to know the differences between these things. And as we manage our money, you know, learn about our savings, ways to increase savings, know how banks work, which we touched on a little bit, know the key things to look out for when we log into our bank accounts and what we when we review our bank statements, understand the differences between being rich and being wealthy, trying not to spend so much money on liabilities or things that take money away from us, but not put money back in. However, it's also really important to note that not everything that looks like an asset is an asset. Not everything that looks like a liability is a liability. It all depends on how you use them and whether you're bringing money into your account or taking money out of your account. Okay, so Glory had her hand up. I just put this in the table, but I think we've talked through it all. Glory, did you want to say something?
No, that's from before.
That's from before. Okay, perfect. So we've now come to the end of today's session. It's there's so much to go through, but I think I'm just gonna go through 3 key tips for the future. The first thing that I think you need to practice on your way to being really good money managers is to practice having a monthly budget. Always make sure that you budget for anything before you actually spend money. The other thing that I would say is my tip for the future is know whether you spend money on assets or liabilities. Again, you can learn that if you study your bank statements and know the pattern of things that you buy. Now, the third thing is practice calculating your net worth every year. So look at all the things you have and say, do I have more assets than liabilities? And what does this mean for me in the future? Okay, so that's a very, very quick whistle stop. I am going to go now to this last slide, which talks about the feedback form, and I will hand over to our Cause for Children to take it on from here. Thank you all.
Thank you very, very much. Not signing off yet. She's still here with us. But thank you very much, Angie. I think time flies when you're having fun. We've learned so much. I've learned a lot today. I think when next we run a course, training like this or workshop like this, maybe we'll make it 3 days. Yeah, so that we can actually learn more and we're not in a rush. But I'm sure you've learned a lot. Please, we've got that feedback again. I need you to do that for us. Quickly, it's just a question. You just need to tell us the things that you've enjoyed about the workshop. So quickly, it would help us to plan better workshops for you in the future. It would also encourage Angie as well. So please do that quickly. And whilst you're feeling that, if I may quickly introduce this workshop that's coming up. So this one is the basic path to project management. We ran something similar last year. We're running it again. Although it's targeted for young people ages 14 to 18. Yeah, ideally it should be in order to understand it well. But if you feel you're under 14, you want to join, you're over 18, you want to join, it's all about learning, it's all about adding to your skills. So we'll be looking at project management, the triangle, the life cycle, project planning, reporting, so that when you find yourself, say your internship, you're working in an office, an apprentice, and they're saying, or internship, you're supporting a project, so that you can actually make meaningful contribution to your team or wherever you work. So it's a good one. It's coming up on the 14th and 21st of May, 2 days, 1 hour each, hopefully. Okay, so we have come to the end of this workshop. Once again, I'd like to thank Angie for being here, for her help, for leading this session. And I'd like to thank you as well for contributing. You were amazing, all of you. Very, very well done. You should be really proud of yourself. Angie did mention, I think there are 2 of you that she would like to send bags to, or 3. Anyway, she's got I think she will send me the names. So, but if you had your name, yes, there will be certificates. Thank you. Those that attended session 1 and 2, yeah, then you will get certificates. If Angie is asked to send you a gift, then I will be in touch with you, asking you for your address where you would like us to send the gift to. I don't want to hold on to this gift. So yeah, I will ask you for your addresses. And also there might be something from Cause for Children as well to send on to you. Okay, so enough of that. So please show your love by sending your greetings in the chat box for Angie and for Cause for Children. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the bank holiday as well. And keep learning. Don't forget, keep learning. And for me, it's bye for now. Bye.